The UK is home to some amazing theme parks, with the likes of Thorpe Park, Drayton Manor. Alton Towers is clearly the best one, no debate. But I've always thought what the next 10 years would look like at these parks. Therefore, I'm giving myself a budget of 100 million to invest throughout the next few years at the Alton Towers Resort. Before I begin, I'd like to say that this video is mainly based on my wish list and not too much on the facts. Oh, and stay tuned to find out what the next Secret Weapon roller coaster is going to look like. Let's begin with next year, 2024. Obviously, we have the retrack of Nemesis set to be named Nemesis Reborn, and with the rate of construction, it's definitely opening next year with a new station with animatronics, including hopefully a moving Nemesis eye and the new black-red track. This is also where my first personal investment comes in, because I'll begin with the reimagining of the full Forbidden Valley themed area. Galactica has been looking really tired lately, and that's why I think the ride should be rethemed with several more rockwork and water features. Practically just bring back air without the VR. And before I forget, we'll obviously be removing the Retro Squad by replacing those crappy flat rides with newer themed ones as we go along. For 2024, I'll just be adding one flat ride in the form of a Zamperla Nebula, themed in a way to fit in the area where the Enterprise in X Sector once stood. The original ride cost for Nemesis is around £10 million, so I'd say the street track and the theming additions for both Nemesis and Galactica would add up to make a total of 20 million as a general investment. We've heard a lot of rumors and speculation with Project Horizon recently, and that's what we'll be talking about now. What type of coaster, manufacturer and theme will be inside that show building? Well, I personally go for a horror-themed intimate multi-dimension coaster with a turntable or some kind of switch track, with the ride making part of Dark Forest, also helping to expand that area of the park. For 2025, I'd also refurb Dark Forest in preparation for the opening of Project Horizon, with a new flat ride opening up between the Sky Ride and the new indoor roller coaster to increase park capacity. This time, I think I'd install some sort of mega discovery to really strengthen Dark Forest's ride overall. I'd also do some TLC on 13, especially on its station. During the off-season, I'd also definitely retrack the final turn on Oblivion, and also give it floor-less trains like the dive coasters which we're seeing being opened recently, just to make it a better overall ride experience. Obviously, Project Horizon already has its own budget, that being of £12.5 million, but we'll add it up to Oblivion's overall budget for a total of around £15 million. 2026 comes quickly, and I'll begin by revamping Catamba Canyon, mainly the rapids, by adding a bit more theming and water effects. However, we'll also begin preparing for Secret Weapon 9 by announcing that this will be the last year that Rita would operate, so that Secret Weapon 9 could be ready for a 2028 season opening. Rita obviously uses a hydraulic launch, and I just don't see it staying any longer, with the park not willing to change it into an LSM. No real major changes this year, so I won't decrease anything from our budget. 2027 will be another quiet year for the resort. However, construction will begin, and will finish, on the park's new coaster, which I see being a Mech Extreme Spinner, similar to Ride to Happiness, which will take up a larger footprint than Rita. Fitting into Dark Forest, the ride will feature multiple launches and low-to-the-ground elements to stay within the park's tree-line height limit. The coaster would also be themed to a number of ruins found in a forest. I'd also add an onboard soundtrack, hopefully making it a new UK #1 coaster, just like what happened when Ride to Happiness opened in 2021. Ride to Happiness is said to have cost Flopsel and the Pen somewhere between 15 to 20 million pounds, so we'll take Secret Weapon 9 to have a 20 million pound budget. With the opening of the Mech Extreme Spinner, 2028 will see a few minor additions. I definitely think that the park does lack when it comes to water rides, and that explains a water coaster being Alton Towers' next ride addition. That's why, in 2029, the park will announce a full demolition of Mutiny Bay. This is to make way for a Mech water coaster, which will utilize what currently is Battle Galleon Station as its loading area, with the layout being built over the lake, also utilizing it for the ride's final splashdown. This coaster will also create its own themed land, including 2 flat rides which may be 2 kiddie drop towers, together with the already existing Marauders Mayhem. I'd keep this new themed land themed to pirates, with the water coaster taking inspiration from Krampus Expedition over at Nigloland. The opening of this newly designed themed section of the park will add up to another large 15 million investment, with the water coaster costing £12 million. However, this water coaster is definitely much needed for the park. It's 2030 and the park is just coming back from a year from which it opened a new themed land and the coaster, so I'd say no major additions will be added this year. So, we can move on to 2031. I'd begin by closing Spinball Wizard to make way for a new family coaster, where I'd choose to put in a Vekoma family boomerang as a replacement for the Spinball roller coaster. I'd say the coaster would look like Velociraptor over at Bolton's Park, with several near misses and many themed elements. These family coasters tend to cost around £3 million, so I'd say this whole project would come out at a cost of £5 million. For 2032, I think the park would surprise everyone with the addition of their next potential secret weapon coaster. I'm not really going to go in detail with this one because it's just so far down the line. However, I'd predict this Intamin Blitz to open just behind Galactica in what currently is a car park. The ride would cost around $25 million to install, together with its team, and will resemble Maverick at Cedar Point, just this time inside Forbidden Valley at Alton Towers. As 2033 comes around, that indicates the opening of this new secret weapon coaster, and also the end of this video. I've spent really long editing, scripting and recording this video, so subscribing and liking the video would be greatly appreciated. And that's 10 years at Alton Towers done.